talent to me is always intuitive. I mean, if you think of the two of the biggest signings that we've done, being Avril Lavigne and Sarah McLachlan, they were both signed without having written a song. So it's meeting them, it's hearing them sing, and it's intuitively knowing that they've got it, and then creating the environment for them to be able to create it. Well, Avril came via a VHS tape of her doing karaoke in her parents' basement. And she covered 3-4 songs, 2 of them by artists that we represented, one being Sixpence None the Richer with a song called Kiss Me. And then she also covered Sarah McLachlan's Adia. And in Adia, Sarah bends her notes. So she bends octaves. And so trying to do karaoke to that song is really difficult because usually you go out of tune. Avril nailed it. Purely based on seeing that karaoke tape, we sent her down to New York to work with one of our mixer producers at the time, who's also a songwriter and had a studio. Shortly after they started work, one of L.A. Reid's A&R people heard some of the tracks. L.A. had her in. She sang for L.A. L.A. wanted to sign her. We had a demo deal with her. We ripped it up and we walked away so that she could go down that road. We were not management then. I was not going to stop her from following her own dream. When her and her manager parted ways about 9 months later, the record company sent out some of the earlier songs to about a dozen or 2 dozen managers, us being one of them, not knowing the history behind it. Listened to 4 songs, went, okay, well, there's 3 #1 singles. Went, damn, we should have kept that one. But it was the right thing to do. Expressed our interest. We were the last management company for Av and her mom to meet with. They came out, spent the day with us. The following morning came in and asked us to be the artist management, because they were able to get a clear story about why we did what we did in order to allow her to follow her dream. And the rest is, 25 million albums, 2 albums, 25 million sold. There you go. Yes, we represent a number of high-profile Canadian artists, but we also represent a number of high-profile UK artists and US artists. I think Canadians being sort of the northern state of America, with English being the sort of predominant language. There's no issue for Canadians going into America and vice versa. And being part of the Commonwealth, there's no issues for Canadians working in England either. So I think it's been a really good place to sort of grow up, because you're affected by both English culture and you're affected by American culture. So you get a really good balance. British bands tend to break in Canada first, and break in the US second. So it's been a really good balance. But Canadians are less political. I think just quieter and some way more sort of thoughtful culture. Our passions don't rise to the top, except maybe in hockey. So our politics is nice. So there's a lot of things about Canadian culture, I think, that is more left-leaning and more liberal and less rhetorical in its nature. I would prefer not to be in the same city that my artists are. There's only one artist that we represent that lives in Vancouver. That's Sarah McLachlan. Every other artist doesn't, and that's a godsend. Otherwise, they'd be in here, hanging out on this couch, talking. Now, how am I supposed to be out there doing what I'm supposed to be doing on their behalf if all I'm doing is talking to them? So, I'm very much about the philosophy that I do not need to hang out with my artists. I need to communicate with my artists, and in this age, that's really quite easy. Via IM or email or phone or text, it's really easy to be in constant communication with them. There's not one day that goes by when I don't communicate with almost everyone in some means.